What is going on, everybody? I am back today to talk about a new documentary that was released on Netflix that I saw circulating around on Letterboxd. And after reading the description of it, it sounded incredibly interesting to me. And I'm a big fan of documentary filmmaking. I love like limited event documentary series. I love full-length feature documentary. And I'm always really interested, especially when it comes to true crime or mystery documentaries. I always get really into that. So I was curious to check this one out. And I'm going to talk about it a little bit with you today. But I want to preface this before I start the review by saying I can't talk about most of my thoughts surrounding this without spoiling the whole thing. Like it's really hard to discuss and break apart the things that I like and didn't like about it without talking about the big spoiler. So if you haven't seen it yet and you're interested in not getting the thing spoiled for you, you can turn off the review now, go watch it and come back. But otherwise, you can check out my thoughts and what I have to say, but I'm going to be talking about the documentary Unknown Number, The High School Catfish. Unknown Number, The High School Catfish is directed by Skye Borgman. A teenage girl and her boyfriend become the targets of relentless harassment from an anonymous phone number. As authorities dig deeper, they uncover a secret that challenges everything they originally believed about the case. So, I was really looking forward to watching this because, like I said, I'm really fascinated in crime and mystery documentary, strange occurrences, things of that nature. And this sounded completely and totally fascinating. And what I will say about this is, I think the story is incredibly interesting, albeit very sad and disheartening and really depressing. But my issue is there are a lot of problems with this as a documentary. I feel like the documentarians sort of fail at achieving presenting this information in a way that it's easy to resonate with because they give the person who has committed these atrocious actions a platform. And it's sort of strange the way that they introduce them and how they play this off. It feels almost a little too scripted and like reveal-y in a way that's not natural in documentary format. And so there's something about that that I really didn't like, and it left a sour taste in my mouth. There's also issues with the pacing. There's some things that I feel like could have been adjusted, but I'm going to talk about it with you a little bit today when I break the documentary down. So, in this documentary, we are introduced to two young teenagers who live in this very small town, and their names are Lauren and Owen. And the two of them are in a relationship in high school, and they're both seemingly very normal kids. They like to play sports, they enjoy spending time together, and there's really just not much to do in their community. And one day, they start both receiving these incredibly horrible text messages that are harassing. They say terrible things. Some of them are inherently sexual by nature. They're violent. They're threatening. Lauren, in particular, telling her that she needs to commit suicide. And it sparks an outrage in the community with not only both of these children's parents, but the school district. The principal kind of gets involved with the police, tries to analyze text messages, do all of these different things to try to find out who is doing this. In the documentary, we eventually get to the point where things have gotten so bad, it tears this young couple's relationship apart. It's making the families lose sleep. We are eventually revealed who is the one causing all of this issues, which, like I said, I'm going to spoil this. It's the young girl's mother. She is the one doing it. And then we find out after we learn why she did it, what the ramifications of her actions are, and how it left a lasting impact on all of these people involved. So, like I said, I really didn't like this as a documentary. I think the story is incredibly sad and interesting, and like what would psychologically drive a person to be this evil and horrible, especially to their own child. And I'll talk about the positives first. I think structurally speaking, the way this thing is edited and recorded, it's very captivating. The editors do a really nice job keeping your attention. There's moments, obviously, of like a manufactured drama that they'll put someone or actors in situations, kind of reenact situations that they're talking about on screen. But I found that to be the best part of this documentary is the structuring and the framing. The interviews are done really well. Like all of the things that make a really compelling documentary exist within this, the choice of music, all of those things. And I feel like if all of those weren't present, this would be much more difficult to watch, which leads me to my issues with the movie. And my biggest issue with this film in particular is giving this mother any platform whatsoever to speak out after she was literally telling her own child to kill herself. And there's something almost sinister to me about they frame this documentary at the beginning that they introduce the mother and they have her like play dumb about the whole situation, and it feels so scripted and false. And it's like, why are you giving this woman a platform and an ability to speak out about doing something horrible and vile? Because you can tell she's an awful liar. Like, as soon as the police figure out what she's been doing, I mean, she's been telling her daughter to kill herself and also sending like explicitly sexual messages about a teenage boy to her daughter and the boy. And it's like they confront her about it. You know, she breaks down in tears. Oh, but I didn't start this, even though the phone logs say she did start the entire situation. And it's implied that, you know, the other parents think that she was infatuated with their young son. There's all of these different things, but it is inexcusable in this particular circumstance. I feel like to give the woman a platform to be like, everybody's got their struggles and everybody goes through these things, and talking about how she was assaulted when she was younger and all of these different things. And it's like, I don't think that would drive you to tell your own teenage daughter to kill herself because of a teenage boy. And there is no forgiveness in my heart for people like that. I think the end of this documentary really kind of tore me apart because the daughter was like, I love my mom and I really want to be around her. And you can just see how overtly manipulative and awful this woman is. Like, they were able to communicate while she was in prison, and like the manipulative love bombing that she was doing to like try to make it like, oh, I didn't do this thing that literally messed up your life and will cause an enormous amount of psychological damage to you in the future. And also like all of these other people's lives that I harmed, and parents and my husband and my family and all of that. Like, it's really just disgusting to me because as someone who has a toxic parent who is incredibly manipulative and conniving and would literally like love bomb you and you know, reel you in with these certain things only to use it against you later. I hate that. And I just hurt for this young girl the entire time I was watching this, because she's just a kid that's trying to live her life, and her mother is one of the most disgustingly vile human beings that's ever existed, and she deserves no sympathy. Like this, there is no amount of anything that could cause a human being to message their kid this vile and disgusting of things 8 to 9 hours a day. Like, really, to the point where you learn she got let go from both of her jobs and she was not doing anything else. She was literally just doing this. And so that's my biggest problem with this, giving her a platform to whine and complain about, oh, my life's so hard. Oh, you don't understand my mental condition. Because as someone who deals with severe depression and anxiety, mental health issues, my mental health issues would not cause me to do this. And I understand there's like severe levels on the spectrum. You can deal with sociopathic tendencies, psychopathic tendencies. There's people that can lean in a further direction. Those people are often devoid of empathy and incapable of change. And this person wants you to believe that they're like scarred and that they've made a mistake. And I just think that she's genuinely nuts. Like, I don't really think that there's anything else to say about it. And then as far as the documentary structure goes, there's some pacing issues in this thing, especially towards the middle part. I felt like a lot of the scenes felt very cyclical in nature and just got to the point where I was less and less interested. The parts that really got me were any time that it was focused on this young daughter and just the trauma that she was experiencing. Because, like I said, as someone who was in a household with a mentally abusive parent that like utilized who they were as a person to manipulate you and try to gaslight you into when they're doing something wrong that it's your fault, I can understand what this girl is going through with mental loops of like, your mom's done this horrible thing to you and now she wants you to think that she's this great person who just had a lapse in judgment. And so that was very difficult to digest, and it just kind of irritated me a bit when I was watching it. And I find it really hard to, you know, take it seriously when they're giving her that level of a platform. It's not the same as like interviewing a serial killer in prison. Like, it's not. It just doesn't come across as the same way. And I also feel like her sentencing was relatively light for the amount of damage that she caused to these people. But like I said, it's an interesting story. I don't think it's a perfect documentary. I especially think that the one thing that I'm telling you about now is one of the reasons why it's so difficult for me to judge it like with complete non-bias. But if you're interested in it, you can check it out and make a decision for yourself. So have you seen Unknown Number, the High School Catfish? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Leave me a comment down below and let me know what you thought. I thought this was a really fascinating story, but not a great documentary for all of the reasons that I mentioned. As always, if you can like the video and subscribe to the channel, helps me out a lot and lets me know the type of content you're looking for. I'm always putting out new material and look forward to getting more out for you in the near future. And as always, everyone, thank you so much for watching and have a great rest of your day.